Why is it you think then that your videos are failing? Let me tell you why. Now, I'm sure it look great and I'm sure they sound great and they get a few claps, but does it actually do anything for your business? You know, most often people are stuck by just creating videos purely for awareness. All you're really doing there is saying, hey, we exist, and that really is about as far as it goes. Now, if that's all you're doing, honestly, you're really wasting your budget and missing the real power and the potential of video. Now, I'm going to show you exactly why that happens, what to do about it, and how to start using video to actually drive sales, not just views. So, if we've not met before, I'm Kevin, and I help brands and businesses just like yours use video to get real results, not just likes and views, but actual sales. Now, I've been doing this for over 30 years, producing everything from Formula One BAFTA winning sports coverage to global campaigns for brands like Red Bull, LG and McDonald's, but also for medium-sized companies, achieving really powerful results. Now, these days I work with marketing teams, founders and brand leaders who want to make content that doesn't just look good, but really performs well. Now that means strategy, not guesswork. And that's exactly what this channel is all about. It's here to help you achieve great results. So let's start with this whole awareness only thing. Now, a brand often decides it needs a video, maybe for a campaign, a site refresh, or just because somebody up the chain decides that they want to do more video. So they make a brand film. Big, sweeping visuals, all sort of slowed down, smooth tracking shots on a gimbal, people smiling everywhere, and some sort of vague language about business values, company values, and maybe some stats flying around the screen. And then what? Where it sits on the homepage of their website, gets whacked into a few ads maybe, or shared on LinkedIn a couple of times, and that's it, job done. But all that video's really actually done is say hello. No next step, no journey, no connection, no sale. It's like walking up to someone at a party introducing yourself and then just standing there smiling at them. No follow-up, no reason for them to talk to you again. Honestly, that's where most video content ends up. Now in a second, I'll show you these 3 stages your video content needs to cover if you want to actually move people towards buying. It's not complicated, but it's where most brands go wrong. Well, I say most brands. Nearly all brands go wrong. So why does this keep happening? Well, for starters, awareness content feels good. It's shiny, it's exciting, it gets played at internal meetings and people nod around saying, oh yes, that's us, and isn't that fantastic? And truthfully, the real reason is it's easier. I mean, you don't have to think too hard about who it's for or what it needs to do. You just need to make sure that it's on brand, and if it goes well, great, everyone's happy. But there's a problem here because no one's holding the video accountable to performance. And if you ran paid ads or an email campaign, you'd be tracking the click-through rates and conversions, the lot. But with video, everybody's just happy that it looks great and it hits the mark and lets everybody know about how great their brand values are. But that's, there's more to it than just being a nice glossy asset that people feel good about. But that doesn't actually really do anything, does it? So let me walk you through what a proper video strategy looks like, top to bottom, and where each type of video plays its part, because honestly, every element of this stage is unique and you need to create the right content for the right stage. Now, if you've worked in marketing for any length of time, you've probably heard of the funnel, TOFU, MOFU and BOFU, and no, they're not Teletubbies. These are the sort of the journey that your potential buyer moves through from knowing about you to buying from you. So you've got top of funnel, TOFU, T-O-F-U, that's awareness. Then you have the middle of the funnel, MOFU, this is where people weigh things up. And then you have the bottom of the funnel, BOFU, this is where the decisions are actually made. The problem is, most video content just stays at the top of the funnel. But if you want your video to sell, you've got to really cover all 3 of these stages. And here's how you do that. At TOFU, the top of funnel, your job is to get attention, not to sell anything. It's just to make someone go, oh, all right, that's interesting. Tell me a bit more about your service or your product. At MOFU, the middle of the funnel, you'll start to explain more about your product or services, educating them to show that you know what you're talking about. And this is where you answer the questions that are floating around in your potential client's head. And BOFU, the bottom of the funnel, this is where you prove it with client stories, actual results, or testimonials from previous clients. It gains reassurance and confidence. Now, each stage needs to be really different with the kind of video that you put into these funnels, because people are in different mindsets at different levels of this funnel. So for example, if you showed like a deep dive explainer to someone who's only just found out that you exist, they'll just switch off straight away. Now let me try and give you a quick example. So let's say you're a SaaS company, a sort of mid-sized team with really smart people in your company. By the way, a SaaS company is a company like Microsoft or Slack that just sells you a software to use. So this SaaS company has this lovely brand film. It's played at conferences and everyone receives it well. It looks great on their website. But any conversions from that? No, nothing. Complete flatline. So instead of this really flashy awareness film, they should have done this instead. Start off with a short social media teaser, fast, punchy, led with the leading pain point that you solve for your customer. Then follow this up with like a walkthrough video. Now, don't put any fluff into this, just explain what the product actually does for your client, its benefits, and for God's sake, not its features, the benefits of it that the customer will actually feel. Then there's a case study with real numbers, real outcomes, and a real client. Now, by rebuilding this video journey, you get completely different and much more profitable results. Not hard from zero, to be honest, is it? Demo requests will start to come in and suddenly their video spend has actually got a return. Now, that's what I'm all about, is getting value for money for my clients. Nothing has actually changed in the products, it's just how it's presented and how you're selling the story. And there's that key word, story. I'll talk an awful lot about this on this channel going ahead, but it's so critical to the success of your video marketing campaigns. Now, before you go thinking, right, let's make all three of these, hang on a second, because there's something that you need to get really clear on and get straight on first. And most people, if not all people, overlook this step, and it's arguably the most important step of all. You've got to start with strategy before you've even thought about what the video is going to look like, or even push record on the camera for that matter. Now, you've got to ask yourself and your team these questions. Who is the video actually for? Where are they in their buying journey? What do I want them to do next? And how will I know if that's worked? How am I going to track it? Because if you don't have clear answers to those questions yourself, it doesn't matter how good your video looks, it will miss the target because there isn't a target there in the first place. Now, the creative bit comes afterwards. The sexy creative bit is how you bring the strategy you've laid out to life. Now, once you've got clarity on the why, the how becomes much, much easier and much more effective, if I'm honest. Now, here's why most people tend to get it wrong. Now, they try to fill their marketing funnel with any old content, hoping that people will see some value in it themselves and hoping that it connects with them. But it really doesn't, because it's not tailor-made for where someone is in their buying journey or what their problems are. It's designed for everyone, hoping that someone will find an element that they connect with. That's what an awareness film is. It's not well enough thought through. It's not a well enough thought out piece of content that's driving a certain action or message. You know, I see people chuck in product demos where there should be a story, or drop in testimonials before they've built any trust at all. And honestly, that's absolute nonsense. What you should be doing is matching the right kind of video to the right stage of the funnel. And that's when video becomes really powerful. For the viewer, it feels like you're almost like reading their mind. Obviously you're not, but you're just aligned with them and you're meeting them where they are in their buying journey. and you're answering the questions that they're already thinking. Now, that's how video stops being noise on all these social media feeds and really starts to drive action. And that's exactly where we're going to get into in the next video. Now, I'm going to break down which types of video works best at each stage and how most brands get this completely wrong. So click through to that now and I'll see you there.